Most people think print on demand success is about thinking of things that have never been done before, creating super flashy designs and insane mock-ups that stick out. But the truth is, what sells is kind of boring. And what you need to do to actually make sure that you're building a sustainable, successful brand is also pretty boring. So in this video, I'm going to explain the no BS blueprint to creating boring, repeatable tasks that over time are going to compound into the brand that makes you successful. So many people think that they can just create a design without doing research, they can throw it up on Etsy, and overnight it is going to pop off. But there are things that you need to do, systems you need to follow, repeatable tasks, and constant listing that need to happen before you start seeing the money roll in. And the first task that you need to do to actually start making sales is first not make any listings at all, and instead study and do research. I am a big believer in that you actually need to get going first. Don't over research, don't let everything get in your way, but at some point you are going to need to study your competitors, study trends, study what's doing well, study what mockups are doing well, so that you can do those things in your store as well. In Etsy, you should be researching what products are doing well. If you want to sell t-shirts, for example, you should understand what brand of t-shirts are doing really well, instead of just picking something that you like personally that think, oh, this is my favorite brand of t-shirt. You're not shopping for you, you are selling. You want to study the market and see what they're buying. So that's when you can open up Etsy and start going through what's popular now and what's a bestseller. And what helps even more is using a research tool. One, for example, is this Etsy radar, which is from Profit Tree. And Profit Tree is great if you are just starting, especially. And right now you can get Profit Tree along with the profit tracking and the research tool, which I'm about to show you, for only $67. And this is awesome because you don't have to pay for a subscription. A lot of tools are going to be a subscription service, so you have to pay every single month, which some people don't have the money for. So if you prefer to just buy a tool and use it moving forward, you can get Profit Tree, so you're able to do research within Etsy and outside of Etsy with just one tool. So to help speed up my research process, what I'm able to do is just go to the Etsy radar here, and I can start to see what listings have high demand right now. I can see how long something's been listed, and I really like to take a look at the demand, and I can see which listings have been selling. For example, this one here, 17 sold in 24 hours. We have some that are selling in 24 hours, others that are in a lot of carts. This one here, 17 sold in 24 hours. And we want to start studying what's making up these listings. What type of shirt is it? What type of niches are they selling in? What type of design styles are they doing? Doing research might sound like an obvious thing to do, but unfortunately, so many people miss this step. They get really held up on how to do their SEO, on how to just create a listing at all, which you should figure out. But that doesn't necessarily mean that those original listings are going to sell. The ones that are going to sell are the ones that are research backed. So some things I might be taking in: which products are doing really well? Which mock-ups, which are the first photo that everyone's using, which of those are doing well? And then what types of designs are doing well? We have this one, for example, doing really well, which we found through using Profit Tree here. And what you can also do is look through their photos. What types of photos are they using? How many colors are they offering? What pricing are they using? Again, studying your competition just to understand what's going on, what makes a listing good, is going to help you a whole lot than if you try to do things blindly. One thing I'm noticing right now as trends on mockups, and especially as I start going through these bestsellers here, is that folded mockups are doing extremely well. Model mockups used to be what sold, versus now we're seeing a lot of these same mockups making bestsellers. The common complaint that I get from people is, I don't want my listing to look like everyone else's. I don't want to keep reusing the same mockup. Well, unfortunately, it works. Certain mockups are doing well because there are mockup trends and what people seem to be wanting to buy right now. So if you really want want to use your own mockups, you can do that, but I highly recommend duplicating your listing and then testing with another popular mockup right now and see which one is doing better and which one's getting you sales. And I probably can guess it's going to be the one that's more boring. That's the one that everybody else is using. Once you've tested mockups in this way, you've tested maybe the one that you think would do best and the one that seems to be selling for everyone. Once you find the mockup that's doing really well for you, reuse it. A lot of people don't want their storefront to have the same photo over and over and over again, and they think it's going to hurt their sales, when in actuality, for me, when I find a best-selling mockup, I just keep reusing it for every single listing, and it always becomes the better seller than the other duplicate in which I used a photo that I thought would look best. The next tip I have for creating bestsellers that a lot of people fight me on, they do not want to list this way, but it is creating extremely simple designs similar to this one here. This one is sold 2 times in the last 24 hours. And take a look at this. This probably took someone 3 seconds to make. It literally just says thankful. If you don't know how to do graphic designs and you don't know what does well on a t-shirt, I often see so many people just using any template they can find, using AI to create any style of design that they can think of without actually knowing if it's going to work. And a lot of the times they are way too complicated. They have way too much going on, when instead, if they just put very simple text on a t-shirt, that is way more likely to sell. About half of my bestsellers are similar to this. They either have a sentence that's funny across the top of a t-shirt or sweatshirt, or it's got a few words and perhaps an icon to go along with it. And all of those felt illegal to put up on Etsy and sell. They were so fast to make, and it was unbelievable how these ones could become bestsellers. Yes, some complicated designs sell, but if that's something you don't know how to make, under designing is going to be easier for you than over designing. And if you don't have any sales yet, I highly recommend using ChatGPT, using Pinterest to come up with funny text ideas that could go on a shirt that relate to a niche that you can just do in a very simple text. Whenever I start getting frustrated with a design, I don't know what else to add, I just remember the term KISS, which I'm sure you've all heard. Keep it simple, stupid. The next tip I have for you is reuse, reuse, reuse designs that work. If I had this design, for example, doing really well, mama, I'm not going to come up with a grandma shirt that is completely different. In fact, I'm going to duplicate this listing, use the exact same mock-up. I'd probably keep the description the same, just change it to be more grandma keywords, but I would just change this exact design, this exact text to say grandma. I'm not changing anything about it. Whenever I get a bestseller, I then take that as a sign to apply that same design to a bunch of different niches and test those. People often ask me, how do you have so many listings? And I build them quickly through doing this, testing different mockups and building different listings based on what has worked for me in the past. If you took a look at my store, I reuse a lot of mockups. A lot of my designs look the exact same, but they're just applied to different niches. I have a mama shirt that's doing very well, and I create a different version of that mama shirt. I'm also going to just reuse the same keywords, honestly. If it worked for me before, I'm going to reuse that SEO again to try to get another listing to be just as successful. The next tip that I have for you, and the one that makes a lot of people stop doing print on demand, is that you need to be consistent. You probably aren't going to make sales in your first week, maybe not in your first month. I didn't make a sale in my first month. I didn't make consistent sales for a few months, but I stuck with it. Every single day once I finished work, I dedicated 1 to 2 hours to creating new listings and making sure that my listings always got better. What does that mean for you? That means that you need to spend a lot of time doing the same thing over and over and over. Creating a design, creating your mockups, writing your SEO. It's a process that once you do a bunch of times, you're going to realize maybe parts of it you don't love. I don't love writing my SEO. Granted, AI has helped a whole lot with that recently, but this is going to be something that you need to consistently do over the long term. I am still 4 years into my store now, and I am still trying to list weekly in my store to try to find new bestsellers. I actually really enjoy the process. I love to go to a coffee shop, and I have a certain ritual around creating designs and getting them listed that makes it enjoyable for me. So you maybe can light a candle, drink your favorite coffee, drink your favorite tea, change the lighting, put on one of your favorite movies that you know all the lines to in the back. Create some ritual that makes doing the same thing over and over again actually enjoyable. The next part you might not love, because it sounds very boring, is you need to be standardizing your processes. And that means creating different templates and different processes for different parts of the listing process so that you can do it faster. For my descriptions, for example, I just use one same description. I'll change it and I have different ones saved for different products that I have, but I'm constantly using the exact same one. I use the same product every time I list something, and I use the same colors every time I list something. And then in Canva, I have a file with my mockups that I use so that when I go to make my mockups, I just go apply them to the mockups and I reuse those over and over and over again. Every time I create a new design, I make sure that I have a process for when that design is finished. For me, I need to make sure that once I finish a design, I go immediately to listing it. Because in the future, when I've lost this routine, what's happened was I like designing a lot more than I like listing. So I would just keep designing, and then I had 20 designs and I did not want to do the listings for them. And that became so overbearing that I just never listed them, or it took me months to actually go back and list them. So instead I have a rule. Once I actually create a design, I need to list it right away. I've created my own order of operations for this, in which I have written down and filmed in case maybe perhaps I want someone else in the future to do it for me. They can see my process, and I have a standardized kind of way that I have this, and I have it documented. I've also made sure to record every common question that I get on Etsy in a Google Doc. So if people ask for an exchange, what will I usually say? If they ask for a return, what will I usually say? If they say there's a quality issue, and I make sure I have a living live document of the ways that I have answered customers in the past. That way I can use AI to automate things to help save a lot of my time. So what you can do is save that file as a doc, as a PDF, and then come on over to ChatGPT. You can create a brand new project, and then what you're going to do is you're going to add files, and you are going to add your customer service scripts. So every time you get a new question, what you can do is you can just paste it into your project, and it's going to refer to your file, and it's going to respond with how you've responded in the past so that you're not having to constantly rewrite these. I have a full video on how I do this, so I will link that up next for you to watch as well. The next thing I want to mention, I probably should have mentioned a while ago, but I forgot, so I'm plugging it in here, and that is go for quantity. In my 4 years that I have been on Etsy, I've probably had about 2,500 live Etsy listings. Not all of those are currently live now and to this day, but that's how much I've been listing. And if you take a look at successful shops, they rarely have just 100 listings. They have a few hundred to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. And once you do what we mentioned earlier with staying consistent over time, that is going to build, but don't stop. Keep adding listings, and eventually you'll find those bestsellers. And probably the one that I didn't want to do when I first started, and most people don't want to do, but that is tracking your profit. I have talked to people before who just set their products, they set their listings, they turned on ads, they set their pricing, but they never actually calculated if they were making money. And with the sales they were running, they were losing money on every single order. So you can do this in a spreadsheet, or if you remember what we talked about earlier, you can use Profit Tree as well. So Profit Tree hooks up to both Etsy and Printify, and what it does is it pulls both what you've sold a product for, and it also pulls how much you paid for it. In Printify, it also pulls how much money you ran towards ads and gives you a bunch of insights into your business on if you are actually making any money. This is just an example. I don't actually have this set up because this isn't a print-on-demand store in here, but it is extremely helpful to see your products and your orders at a glance to understand your business and make important business decisions. For both Etsy and Shopify, I am tracking my ad spend. I am tracking how much I sold. I am tracking my profit every single day to see what I'm doing to make profit go up, to see profit go down, which products I'm selling that are bringing me the most profit, how much of a sale can I actually run to still make a profit. Crunching numbers isn't that fun to most people. Weirdly, it is to my husband, not to me. I hate spreadsheets so much. So Profit Tree does help out with that. But knowing and understanding your numbers is key to setting up and running an actual profitable business. I hope these tips didn't make you feel too overwhelmed. They're just the real reality of what print on demand is like, and you can still fully enjoy the process. 4 years later, and I love selling on Etsy. It brings me money. Listing still brings me joy. I don't have to spend that much on advertising on Etsy. I actually spend no money on advertising, but it is such a good way to build up your own business, which is more passive than some other types of online businesses. And if you want to learn more about print on demand, or especially how to automate and create a lot of those systems with AI to help speed this up, I have so many videos on AI and how I use it in my store, but I'll link up, I think, the most important one next, and how to create your own Etsy AI business coach and how to automate your customer service. If this helped you at all, if you could please drop a like and subscribe, it would help me so much. Thank you guys, and I will see you next week.